Hello and welcome to True Guidance Tarot. I'm Adriana Teodoro-Dier. I'm a spiritual medium as well as an intuitive card reader. Today I have a message for the water signs. This is for Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. Before we get to your messages, I just have a little announcement for you. I am also a professional pianist, and I have really been missing being able to play live concerts for people and share music, share the other thing that I love to do. And so my duo partner and I have decided to put together a live streaming concert on YouTube from one of our living rooms. We haven't quite figured it out yet, but it's going to be next Friday, July 24th at 7 o'clock Mountain Time. And we're really excited. It's a concert of classic rock, but for the ukulele, the guitar, and the piano. Piano is me. So even dressed like a piano today. So we would love to see you there, and the link will be in the description below. So if you'd like to come, please add it to your calendar. And let's get straight to your message. So even before talking about any cards, we are talking about health this week. I'm getting a very strong message about health, about slowing down and doing the simple things to make sure that you're in really good health, really good balance. We are talking about diet for a lot of you. I don't get so much the idea of rest, although rest is a component of health, but it's mostly diet that I'm feeling. So really watch what you're eating. This week, we're moving out of the season of Cancer into the season of Leo, and so we're shifting from water into fire, still kind of really active, dramatic energy. It's not that calm, grounded energy, and that from one earth sign to all of you waters out there, trying to bring you back down to the ground a little bit. Okay, so funnily enough, the energy around you this week is the Pentacles, Page of Pentacles, and so this is your message of healing right now, and it's facing our Temperance card. Temperance is balance, it's healing, it's keeping that fire and water. What did I just talk about? Leo and Cancer. It's keeping that together in balance so that one doesn't overwhelm the other. If the fire is too hot, the water is going to boil. So if your temper is too high, then the emotions spill out everywhere. If the emotion is too much, it puts out the water. It puts out the fire. If your emotional waters are too much, it puts out your fire. But you hold them in balance together, and that is what helps your system go. So, this is on a lot of different levels. The health is always, it's spiritual as well as just plain physical. But we're really just talking about the simple things: eating right, making sure you're not going overboard on sugars, making sure that you're drinking enough water and staying hydrated, and making sure they're saying be careful with your stimulants this week. So caffeine, and again, that sugar, because there's going to be a tendency to run run the fire too hot. So just watch that. If you have to drink some kind of caffeine, maybe try tea, maybe cut your coffee down, don't drink as much, and really make sure you're offsetting it with water and some good grounding foods. I am not a practitioner of Chinese medicine, but I'm very interested in it. And a lot of the foods that help us ground are earth foods, so grains and things that are grown in the ground, and things like squash. So even watermelon, but I know that's a sugar. But things like butternut squash, acorn squash, even potatoes, just something that keeps you grounded and heavy. Protein also, nuts are kind of that heavy thing. So I don't want this to become like a diet because I am not qualified to do that. But watch your diet, watch the caffeine, watch the sugar, okay? So your advice is really just that. I know I just harped on about it without showing you, but we've got we've got the Sun looking at the Two of Pentacles, and on the other side we've got the Ace of Pentacles. Now the thing with this reading is that you're kind of like, Adriana, what are you talking about? My health is fine. I'm fine. You think you're in a good place, and a lot of you are, but there's little tiny things that can tweak your balance off. The things like the caffeine, the things like the not eating regularly, not watching exactly what you're putting in your mouth, that can just throw your whole system off. And so I just want you to be aware, because the feeling of these cards is that you're going to think things are better than they are, and your system's sending you messages being like, no, actually pay attention to me. But you're like, no, it's fine. I've got stuff to do. It's fine. So really listen to the simple things, because We've got the Two of Pentacles, which is again that balance of two, keeping things in harmony, keeping them in balance. But the Sun is blocking that. What did I talk about before? The heat, when they said, watch the sugar, watch the caffeine, watch the fire element, watch the things that make you hot and agitated and overstimulated. That's our Sun, because it's blocking you from having a good health foundation. Okay, so, again, this is not a big, scary, your health is on the rocks this week. This is, what are the small things you can do to care for yourself with your diet? And that's incredibly specific, but I hope that's helpful to you. If you have questions about that, I can point you to some resources. Again, I know the limitations of what I have to offer. I have a lot of interest in these matters, but I'm not going to suggest something to you that I feel I don't have a lot of credential for. If that makes any sense. So let's get to your individual readings. We're starting with Scorpio. Okay, middle three. Okay. All right, interesting. So this is about staying focused, staying focused on your spiritual path, staying focused on your spiritual journey this week. We've got the Star, we have the Lovers, and then at the end we have the Seven of Cups, I'm sorry. So this is a very soft, kind of gentle energy from these, a lot of blues, a lot of purples. I just love that. It's soft energy. But what concerns me a little bit is that we end in a wishy-washiness. We end in the Seven of Cups, which is more of a delusions card. So you're kind of like, I don't know if that's really real. I don't really know if that's the direction I'm supposed to be going. A little bit of some doubt can creep in. And your feet aren't on the ground when that happens, when that doubt creeps in. So the Star talks about coming home to yourself. And if you notice, she's got her feet in the water, but she's connected to the heavens. So this is that intuition coming through your emotions, but in a calm and settled way. I really love this card. It's so beautiful. It's so peaceful. Because in that moment when you're aligned with your higher self and when your intuition and your emotions are right in line, they're not going overboard. It's just this moment of clarity, of knowing, of certainty. And you have that hope and that restfulness available to you this week. Now we get the Lovers. And so you start to try to apply that to what's going on in your environment. And so you're saying, okay, I'm coming home to myself. I'm getting these feelings. I'm getting this emotion. I'm feeling in tune. I'm feeling lined up. How do I then put that into my real world? And you start to overthink. You start to question a little too much. You start to go into the details a bit more than you should. And you start worrying that you're not seeing things correctly. I don't know if you can see, there's a snake here holding an apple. So this is a reference to Adam and Eve, that first temptation. And so when this card comes up, it's warning you to pay attention to what's really valuable and what's really important. But the thing is that your soul knows this. It's just that this is quieter than the mind. The mind is going a bit overboard on what it thinks it should be doing. And so even though it looks like you're having a good intent with questioning, it's actually diluting the strength of you coming home to your true self, of you coming in line with your intuition. And the reason why we're saying it's diluting it is because we get into the Seven of Cups, which is like, oh my God, I don't even know what the sky is. What's the sky? What's the air? I don't know. Everything kind of looks the same. You totally lose that compass because you've got too many choices in front of you and you don't know what to do. So if I can kind of describe this in a different way, it's like there's a straight line. There's this perfect alignment between higher and lower here. But then you start to kind of cut it apart and you start to fragment it and you start to break it apart with all this questioning. Is it right? Is it wrong? Am I doing things on the right side? Am I doing things on the wrong side? You start to break it apart. And by the time you get to here, it's kind of dissolved into pieces. And it was very strong when it was aligned because everything was vibrating together. Everything was coalesced together. But then like you break it apart. It's kind of like a puzzle. If we think of a puzzle, when you put a puzzle together, you see the whole image and it's strong. But then when you first open the box, all the pieces are everywhere and you can't even see that image. You lose sight of what the picture is supposed to be unless you look at the box. And so the message here is saying, you've got the image of the puzzle box right here. You need to be watching that. You need to be looking at that. You need to be looking at the wholeness rather than the separation, because the minute you go into separation, you go into separation from yourself, and you lose, it's like you lose your moral compass. You lose which way you're supposed to act. And you think you're trying to reach that correct way by analyzing everything and pulling it apart. It actually takes you farther apart from where you need to be. Okay, so trust that moment, trust that tranquilness. If you can, kind of hold the image of this in your head while you're meditating, or you can picture meditating with your feet in the water and stars in your hair, so you're connecting the heaven and the earth, the emotion and the ethereal. Something where you're connecting two opposites, but you're the pole that's in between them. So it's a nice image. That just kind of came in from nowhere. But that's the kind of stuff that's going to help you this week. So we are going to move on to Cancer. Okay, top 3. Ay. Okay, Cancers. Okay, all right. We've got the 3 of Swords. We have the 4 of Pentacles, and we end in the 6 of Cups. Now, all right. So, I'm laughing because these cards, these are tough cards, some of them. Now, we're doing the Cancer thing of looking back. We're looking back to the past in a way that's not helping us anymore. In fact, they're saying some of you are so lost back there that you've lost sight of the present. You're actually living in the past. You're holding so strongly onto what's happened in the past, who you were in the past, the relationships that you had in the past, that you're not able to move forward. So you're hanging on. It's like you got that photo album and you've got it out and you won't shut it. You won't understand that there's been growth since then on your part, on the part of other people, and you just don't want to move forward. There's just this reluctance to keep your to move forward and to become yourself, to become more whole. And the message here is that you are betraying yourself by doing this. If this direction, let's see if we can make sense of this. If this direction this way represents the past, she's looking to the future. She wants to go to the future, but because of the way that she's holding on to the past, she's not able to move herself forward. And that is betraying her, because her heart wants her to move on. Her heart understands that these things are done. It values the experience. It values the wisdom. It values the knowledge. And it values the treasure that was in the past. There was treasure in the past, but being so stuck there and understanding that and thinking that it can persist, thinking that you can't move on from it, thinking that you need to stay back there, it's just really not serving you in the present. Let's see if they have any other things they want to say. They're saying why. What is so scary about your present? What is so scary about the way things are now that you are wanting so badly to escape? What is it about this that you're turning so nostalgically to the past? In fact, you're misremembering the past. You're making it a lot prettier and a lot more rose-colored than it actually was. But what about your future is so scary that you don't want to face? That's the big question, and this is going to be a different answer for all of you. But what is so scary in your present that you do not want to face it, and you have to turn yourself back to the past? It's not going to make that thing go away. You're just delaying dealing with it. But again, what is so scary? What is the worst thing that can happen if you face this? Okay. Ooh. Oh boy, Cancers. That was a big one. Okay, last of all, Pisces. Last but definitely not least. Okay. All right. Oh, guys, I think you're bored this week. We've got the Chariot into the Knight of Swords, I'm sorry, to the King of Swords, and the Knight of Swords is coming to meet this. Now, I think you're bored, quite frankly, and I think you're wanting some drama because you are trying to get, I can see this all playing out in my head, and it might take me a second to explain. It's kind of like, you know that there's a dramatic person or a dramatic thing approaching you, and you're, instead of thinking, okay, I'm gonna approach this dramatic situation or person or argument, I'm gonna approach them with logic. It's like you're trying to get yourself fired up. You're trying to stick the bull. You're trying to pick the bull to make him angry. You know, like what they used to do with bullfighters, how they had all those people come out beforehand and stick the bull with sharp things, sticks and metal objects, whatever, to get the bull mad. That's what you're trying to do. So either the part of yourself or one of your friends that's usually very level-headed and calm, you're kind of like, come on, come on, come on. We have a fight to do. Come on, we have a fight. There's this person coming. We've got to get him up. Now, you don't need to do that, because it's a lot more powerful to sit there calmly while this person flies at you with whatever drama they're coming at you with. If you just sit there calmly in your power, if you just sit there and allow them to burn themselves out, you will get so much farther. You will get such a higher outcome, a higher position, because you don't need to come down to the level of this person who's trying to pick a fight with you. You can stay up on your throne. This guy's sitting on a throne. This guy's flying through the air. You sit on your throne like the royalty that you are, and you be the bigger person. You be the bigger man. Instead of trying to incite yourself or that calm friend of yours into drama, you need to sit there and own the fact that you have the mastery. You can master this situation. You can have the upper hand here, but you need to not come down to this level with gossip and looking for a fight. So it's kind of a funny message after the last one, but thanks so much for joining me. I really do enjoy doing these readings, and I will look forward to seeing you next week.